The person who said that time is money is absolutely wrong, in my opinion, because the thing is, I can lose money and I can still make that back. But one thing I can't lose out on is time, because you can never just go back and reclaim those things unless somebody actually has a functioning DeLorean that's going to take me back to, oh gosh, early 2000s when I was just wasting my time. But, that's what brings in today's guest. Her name's Estelle Van de Velde. Now, I had discovered Estelle over on YouTube quite some time ago. Love her videos about writing and self-publishing. So that's why I said, she's got to be doing something right, because one, she's bilingual, and two, she's doing videos in English despite it not being her first language, and she's also publishing books in English, and she talks about translating those things, and she's doing YouTube videos. What are you doing? And the funny thing is, when I started the conversation, I couldn't help but notice in the background that she has a board with a bunch of Post-it notes in various different colors and such. And I said, probably how she manages that time. So without any further ado, let's sit on down with a chat with Estelle Van de Velde, where she's going to kind of demystify some of the process of time management as an author.
You and I were just talking here, and I'm a fan of your channel. I'd stumbled over it some time ago because you're actually a very active community member over on Self-Publishing with Dale. And a lot of people don't realize I actually go in and I look at other people's YouTube channels. And when I saw yours, oh my gosh, so give me the story. What led an author like you to go over and create a YouTube channel?
Well, I started my channel in April 2022, so we all know what happened that year. We were at the beginning of a pandemic, and the government had just asked us to stay home and not come out. Also, the company I was working with decided to put us in furlough 1 day per week. So with all this new free time, I decided I would give YouTube a go and documenting my journey as a writer. And actually it stuck. I actually think I should have started YouTube way sooner. But you have to know that I'm quite shy, even though I'm sure you don't see it, you can't notice it. I'm talking to you right now. And I didn't know anything about video editing at the beginning. So yeah, it was quite a challenge.
I noticed, I was digging into some of your backlog more recently because I probably tripped up over your channel maybe a couple of months ago it was. But I went and I dug in there, and yeah, you could see a remarkable improvement in your video quality. What's the secret? Because I will tell you, it's taken me 6 years to get to the quality of video editing and production that I do. And it seems like you've got such a stronger grasp on this.
Well, you have to know that I did a degree in communication and media. So I studied journalism. I did a course in radio, I think, and podcasting, radio, podcasting, and television. So, I was still shy because the thing is that you have to know that I have never, ever been on the other side of the camera. And usually what I do is content writing, not content filming or editing or whatever. I'm a content manager actually, so that's why. One of my friends says that I'm a natural behind the camera, but if you've watched my very first video, I wasn't that good actually. When I see the difference between the video that I'm making right now and the video that I did back then, totally different person.
Yeah, I could still sense the intent though, even early on in some of those. Yeah, they're not 100% of what you are right now, but I think that's remarkable, showing the progress that you've had in doing video production. So what exactly, if someone comes up to you on the street and says, Estelle, what's the deal with your YouTube channel? What do you teach people over there?
Well, what I wanted to do on my channel is vlogs, actually. I started with vlogs. So me talking about my writing and how my book was evolving week on week. because I had just finished the first draft of my nonfiction, so I was in the editing phase and preparing for release. So I thought this could be interesting, right? Then the thing is that I got laid off from my job due to COVID, and I released a couple of videos like, I tried being a full-time author for a month type thing. Yeah, I got quite a few nice comments and people started engaging. And so yeah, I made some connection with other author tubers. And I watched other author tubers as well. I learned how they were making their videos, how they were editing their videos. And so I kind of got inspired from all of this and I tried to make it my own. Also, I have a husband who is very technical. So each and every time that I was editing a video, I would go through him and be like, hey, do you think I could make it better? And, you know, I'm using DaVinci Resolve as a software. And yeah, he actually, if this software has a manual, he read it. It's as if he read it. So yeah.
Wow. So you really had some great peer support right there in your household.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's a developer.
That's so incredible.
So
you know, so
that's also useful for websites.
Yeah, this is really cool to kind of hear you break down some of your process on YouTube. And I would definitely love to keep tapping into this. But one of the things I found super fascinating about you is, yeah, you look comfortable on camera. Like you deliver great quality. But I'm going to assume that English is your second language. And am I right in saying, did I see a video at one point or another that you said that you didn't know just two languages, that you knew multiple languages?
No, I only speak French and English.
Ah, okay. So I was completely off on that one, though. So how come did you decide, okay, I'm going to go and do a YouTube channel, but I'm going to do it in English? Or have you done another channel in French?
No, I haven't done it in French. I started directly in English. And the reason why I started in English is because I write in English. There's a quote from Margaret Atwood saying, if I waited for perfection, I would never write a word. And that's exactly that for me, actually. I'm a French native speaker, so it would make sense for me to write in French, right? But I'm a huge perfectionist in my own language. So I have suffered from the blank page syndrome because of that. And writing in English allows me to go past that. I know I won't find the perfect English word and write the perfect English sentence. And I feel less pressure that way. And so I write books in English. So it did make sense for me to do content in English, whether it's like written content or video content, because my audience was English. Because I created my social media, Instagram, Facebook, and everything is in English. So, yeah, it did make sense.
So it was kind of like the path of least resistance for you to write in English then, am I right in saying?
Yeah.
That's super interesting, and I find it very intriguing. Do you think somewhere down the line you would end up writing French books or even translating your English into French?
Well, just a secret, right? I'm doing a translation of my book, The Londoners, in French, because some of my friends can't read English. So I'm like down to translate that in French. But I won't do that for all of my books. But for this one is particular because it's the story of our expatriation journey to my husband and I. Because we went to, we moved to London and we stayed there for like 4 to 5 years and then we came back. But it's like the story of our expatriation. And of course, my friends are interested in reading that. So yeah, I'm translating that in French, but that won't be the same thing for all my books because it takes a lot of time.
It's pretty crazy to hear that you are expanding towards that direction. And there's a reason why I asked this, because I seen in a more recent vlog where you showed one of your like goal boards. I think you might have a different word for it, but you had a
Oh,
bunch
yeah,
of
this
like
one.
post-it notes. Yes.
Yeah, that one.
It's got all these different post-it notes on there, and you've got it all laid out. How do you manage your time so efficiently? Because obviously you're putting out about one video per week. They're great quality, excellent production. Obviously you're not just sitting down pointing and shooting. There is some time and thought being put behind this. And then you're being a writer and translating your written work. What's the secret?
I don't have any secret. I procrastinate a lot. It's not because it's written on post-its that I'm doing it right away, right? And to be honest, so here in the background, you can see that in blue, you have a ton of post-its compared to the other colors. But in blue, it's my book-related tasks, let's put it that way. But a lot of them are here for a long time. They've been there for a long time. So...
this is interesting.
I'm
could you explain this
trying.
to our audio podcast listeners, because some of them won't be able to see this? So you've got like
okay.
what is it? Like you got almost like a small bulletin board, like an office board that you've put on post-it notes, and each one of them
Yeah.
are color coded to a specific task. Explain just a little bit more on that.
Yeah. So I have like 3 columns on there. So to do, doing, and done. It's a Kanban board, like the regular one that you can see everywhere. And I have 3 different colors for different tasks. So the blue ones are for book-related tasks. Yellow one are for now is baby tasks, because I just got a newborn. He's 7 weeks
Congrats.
old at the time we record this podcast. So so it's all the baby tasks, so I don't forget. And the pink one are for other business related tasks. So for example, if I need to update my website, or if I need to release a newsletter, something like that.
Do you find it helpful having, like, say, the post-it notes versus a virtual version of like a checklist? Because for me, I'll tap a checklist and I'm done with it. Is it a little bit more satisfying for you to take that post-it note and throw it away?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that. It's the most satisfying thing in the world. I also have a Trello board, so the digital version of it, and I have a paper version of it in my bullet journal. So I'm like an organization freak, but I do procrastinate a lot. So this is kind of a dual personality here.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about Trello, because I know one of my mentor, Jason Brock, used to like really try. He's like, hey, man, you got to go try out Trello. What's the deal with Trello, and why do you use it?
So Trello is like a free version of any type of Kanban board. You can have multiple boards on there. I use it for my author business, so everything that has to do with books, with the services that I'm gonna launch very soon. What else? But that's it. I have just like with my board right there. I have a column that says to do, doing, done. And I can see the progress I do over time as well. Sorry for the phone. We have to wait for it. Yeah, as I said, I live in a pharmacy, so this is the phone for the pharmacy.
I'm just leaving that in. That's amazing.
This is a very old phone, like in the 70s or 60s, and we can't put it down. This is incredible, but we can't put it down. Anyway, what I was saying, for my Trello board, yeah. So the thing with Trello is that you can have like a calendar type thing where you see all your tasks and the due dates, which is very useful as well. And you can see all the tasks that you've previously done, because when you have like a paper board like I have right in the background with all the post-its, once you throw the post-its, you can't see anything, so you don't really see like the improvement or the tasks that you've previously done. And with Trello you can keep that into mind, then you can go back and check that type of thing.
That makes sense. That's really kind of cool. And am I incorrect in saying that you're able to collaborate with other people too with Trello?
Yeah, you can collaborate with other people as well.
Nice.
But I'm doing it all alone, so there's no sense in sharing my Trello board with others.
It's solo. Yeah, I totally get it. That's really awesome. I love your attention to detail, and your way that you're doing time management is just absolutely incredible. What are some really big projects that you have on the horizon right now beyond, say, YouTube?
So beyond YouTube, well, I'm a guest speaker at the AuthorTube Writing Conference on the 17th of
Nice.
July. Yeah.
You and me both.
Yeah. So there's that. There's the preparation of the Londoners in French. So I'm planning on releasing it around September, something like that. Then I have another nonfiction book that I'm writing at the moment. It's on maternity and parentality because, got a baby, so got to record that somewhere. Then I have a novel that I'm working on at the moment. It's a YA contemporary fantasy novel. And I'm in the beta reading phase for that book at the moment. So I've got a few people reading it and giving me feedback, and they like the story so far. I'm so happy about that.
Nice.
They do say that I've got a lot of editing to do because I'm not a native speaker. But you know what? That's what editors are for. So that's not a big deal. And my husband actually convinced me to go down the traditional path for that book because it's middle grade, so I'd probably reach more readers that way. However, as I do love self-publishing, no, you couldn't guess that I love self-publishing. I do love self-publishing. Yeah. And the freedom it gives me over my own books. So I told him that if I don't find an agent within a year of querying, I would self-publish it. So that's all my book project at the moment. Oh, and I'm outlining a trilogy. It's going to be a YA dystopian type thing. So I'm outlining it at the moment, and yeah, it's in progress. It's in progress.
Very cool. How frequent are you publishing your books?
Well, I published The Londoners in March 2021. And okay. I actually had planned to publish my novel end of this year, so 2022. Mm-hmm. But as my husband convinced me to go the traditional path, it won't happen. And my next book, so the nonfiction about pregnancy and parentality, is not going to happen until next year, because I wanted to finish the book when my son is 9 months old.
It's gonna be a while.
And, yeah, and it's gonna happen like in February. So yeah, it won't happen until next year. But I try one a year, but yeah, for this year actually it won't gonna happen. But it's life.
It seems pretty reasonable. It sounds like you've got a great process for writing and then producing and publishing the content. What kind of tips could you give for, say, beta reading teams? Because you said you've got a few readers. How were you able to get them? Yeah. And how are you able to keep them?
Keeping them is kind of the struggle because the thing is that some people, they registered for beta reading, but they are so busy with their lives that they don't have the time to beta read. So keeping them, I'm struggling a bit about that. But so the yeah, you and me both. So how I got them? Well, the thing is that I'm friend with a lot of authors. Right. So I got I got two friends of mine who are beta reading at the moment. And they are, well, one of them actually finished and gave me his feedback. So it was quite nice receiving like flowers at my story, He threw flowers at me. It was really nice. Then what I did, I did do a video about beta reading and asking for beta readers. So I put up a form on Google and people had to fill it in, and I chose a couple of them. Not all of them, but a couple of them. And then I sent them the manuscript, and I also had a document in which I put not rules, but things that I was looking for and how they could edit the manuscript through Google Doc, because some people don't know how to use Google Doc, so I had to do a kind of manual for Google Doc.
Yeah.
And actually, one of my beta readers, I got it through a Facebook group because I did a master's in creative writing at Brunel University in London, and it's not a fellow, it's not someone I did my let's cut that. It's not someone I did a master's with, but she did it a previous year, and she was looking for beta readers for her own manuscript. So we are swapping manuscripts. And that's actually it for how I found it, how I found them. How to keep them? Well, being consistent in saying, hey, how are you doing? How is the beta reading going? Have you had the time to do it? Be annoying like that.
Right. Yeah, I totally get it, because that's exactly, you can't really force them to do anything. Hey, Estelle,
exactly.
We're starting to get towards the end of the podcast, and I wanted to kind of course, ask you the question I ask all my other guests. What advice would you give to aspiring authors and self-publishers?
So as someone who has a YouTube channel, I would say get yourself out there. The best advice I can give is keep going with everything you do, whether you have an Instagram account, a Facebook account, a YouTube channel, a TikTok account, whatever. But keep going, keep being consistent, keep posting videos, posts, reels, every week, every month, every day if you want to. Do what you love, and you will see that people will come back and subscribe to you because they know you're passionate about your topic. Whatever that topic is, whatever the book that you are writing and publishing, and how you do it isn't really important. The important thing is that you keep going.